Hello everyone, this is Raphael Ray. We all know about the malicious evil that attacked us on 20 years ago on September 11, 2001. The true maliciousness of the jihad is too blatant to miss. But now I'm here to talk about I'm here to tell you about another kind of evil that's so much trickier you probably don't even know it's possible. So I have to explain it to you. I have to lay it out word for word. Earlier today, at around 10 o'clock, a black woman passed by me and very sneakily went like that on my bottom with a fist. And I felt it. As she passed by, she went right on my bottom. And because I didn't expect it, because I was so startled, I shouted, I went, ah! And then she went overboard with superficially apologizing in order to look innocent and to make me look insecure and heartless if I did not respond in kindness. And I simply said, "Well, we'll just bear it. Just bear in mind, I scare easily. I shock easily." Now, she would have known it because I can tell she did it deliberately, and the excuse that she justified it with, along with her superficial apology, she justified it by saying that she just did emotion without thinking, because she knows that's what I can relate to. Because I always do that. When I'm not paying attention, I brush up against people and not know it. But what she did was a knock against my bottom. And she went overboard to try to superficially explain and apologize so that I look insecure if I'm not kind in return. Now, I said I shock easily, so that would have helped her if she's telling people that she just brushed up against me accidentally, and then she could bring up that I said that I startle easily, and that would make sense. But I think everyone knows no one can startle that easily. She intentionally startled me, and she probably willed in her mind that I feel shocked as she did it, and that psychic influence would have worked on me. So that's the true sneakiness of not so violent evil. It was a violent act, but not nearly so bad as flying planes into towers. But I still have to discuss it with you because it's so subtle and so sneaky that when white people actually do act heartless and insecure, it's because we know what was done to us, and we can't really feel very kind in return. And that's why blacks do it. It's very sneaky and very evil. So if you ever hear about how a black man was shot by white people when he was simply walking by, just take for granted he wasn't just walking by. When people downplay what blacks are doing, it's only to make whites look viciously insecure and evil against blacks, when actually we're not. Blacks know we're not because they know exactly what it takes to make us act like we are. And this isn't the first time a black person tried to bother me. At another time, when I was buying something at a convenience store, like one of those quick stops, another black woman behind the counter asked me, because I had my backpack with me, she asked me, "So do you walk a lot because you have your backpack?" And she asked that several times, and because I was so confused, I couldn't answer. I was like, what? And she was like, do you walk a lot? Do you walk a lot because you take your backpack? That's a simple enough question. So I answered, well, a simple question is a no problem. So that's how sneaky they are. They intentionally confuse and shock me so that I act like an insecure and like an insecure prick because I'm a white man who's not on the left. So they do what they know it takes to get me to act like what they want me to look like. That they don't actually hate white supremacy and white racism. If there was any white supremacy, then they would feel comfortable with it because then they look like the good guys because then we look bad on our own accord. So the black community doesn't really hate white racism. What they do is they cleverly trick us into acting like we're racist so that they look like the good people by comparison. That is what the black community does. They're not really against racism. They thrive on anti-white hatred. So it's definite they don't hate racism. What they do is they secretly go out of their way to provoke whites and to confuse us and to shock us so that we look evil, so that we look like the bad guys. So they don't hate racism, they hate whites. And sometimes they'll say it even, they'll show it blatantly with many of their hate speech. Like with many of these black athletes and actors that talk so badly about whites. It's intentional. So just bear in mind, radical Islam is not the only evil there is. Left-wing supremacy that pretends to hate white racism is much sneakier and much more subtle evil. And whites know it because we are the ones suffering the brunt of it. We're the ones who look bad because of it. And there you go. Have a nice day.